The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Hi, I'm Mike O'Sullivan, CEO of One SouthCoast Chamber, and welcome today to the One SouthCoast Chamber Business Connection. We're joined today, as always, by Katie Green, our Vice President of Marketing and Events.
Hello, Mike.
Welcome, Katie. And we have a very special guest today. We're joined by Catherine Dillon, who is the Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of BankFive, which is based right here in Fall River. And Catherine is the 2026 chairperson of the board. I almost slipped. Chairperson of the board of One SouthCoast Chamber. So welcome, Catherine.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Happy to have you.
Yeah, we are really happy to have you. You know, I've been the chamber CEO now for 7 years, and I don't think we've ever done this. So it's the first time.
I'm a trailblazer. We're throwing you right into the fire.
But I have always said, you know, I think it would be a great opportunity for the chamber to, you know, go on the community media with our chair and just talk about the chamber.
Yeah.
And talk about all the different things. And you've been a board member of the chamber. I know you were a board member when I got here.
Yep.
So you've been here for quite a while. So
quite a while.
You've seen a lot of things and
yeah.
Seen a lot of changes. So what motivates you to want to serve as a board chair?
Sure. Well, first of all, BankFive has been in the Fall River community since 1855. We just celebrated 170 years. So we have been dedicated to serving the needs of our community. And part of that is we all take an active role in various community organizations and sit on a lot of boards. So probably 9 years ago, our president and CEO at the time asked me to join the chamber. It was near and dear to his heart. And so I've been thrilled to do it ever since. Personally, I love small business. I come from, a family of small business owners and entrepreneurs, and I just think that what small business owners do on a daily basis is really inspirational. I think it takes a lot of courage and dedication. So I was attracted to the chamber because of that. I've also worked with several chambers in other roles throughout the country. So I was really excited to join the chamber, and it's been an awesome opportunity to meet and really develop relationships with other people in the community. It's one thing to meet somebody at a networking event, but when you work side by side on a committee, you really get to know them. So it's been a really rewarding opportunity.
And of course, in that time, the chamber's changed a lot.
Yep.
We went from being the Fall River area chamber and the New Bedford area chamber to merging in 2020.
Yeah.
And you were right smack in the middle of that. You were knee deep in it with all of us as we changed, so which we're very grateful.
Yeah, it's great to become, at the time, the second largest chamber in the state, right? Now third largest, which, that's quite a voice that we have. So it was great to bring those two organizations together.
And as you know, that was one of the challenges that we had, that Rick Kidder and I had originally, was to try to really build the impact at the State House, which I think we've had great success. I mean, Ian Trombley he came on board 3 years ago, and he's doing a great job with that, and it's really helped us a lot. We're on the Competitiveness Council that the governor started a few months back. So, there's been a lot of change, but it's all for good. And of course, we went through COVID together. The list is very long.
It is. It's quite a story.
It really is, and we want to get better at telling that story too.
Yes, for sure.
And that being said, how would you describe where you see the chamber's role in the community and strengthening the economy, the South Coast economy? Like, how do you see that benefits?
Yeah, so I think you guys do a great job on the website of illustrating the 4 pillars, right? So connect, learn, grow, and advocate. So I like to use I don't have to create my own speaking points here. I can just pull from the website. But I think we've conducted 2 surveys now from our members to hear what they find valuable in the membership and where they want to see more from us. So I think connecting is, we have great networking events. Like we said, we hear from our members that networking is one of the number one things they want to see out of the chamber, and Katie does a great job with a zillion events, a lot of plates spinning on top of all those things that you've got going on. So those are great. So we give them networking and learning opportunities. We've heard that they need help with two things, HR tools and marketing, which when you think of those industries and how quickly they're changing, right? AI is changing the world so quickly. HR and just legal matters overall are always evolving and keeping up with that. So I think we have a huge opportunity to help with that. Advocate, you talked about our voice at the State House. Certainly that's important. And I think, as a large group, like we said, the third largest in the state, we have a collective voice, and so there's some power behind that. So we want to use that to advocate. And then, helping them grow their business, listening to them, and also helping to grow the visibility, like you mentioned, of the South Coast. There are so many exciting things going on in the South Coast. I mean, you look at New Bedford, the largest fishing port in North America, all of the exciting things that are going on at 79 and the waterfront in Fall River. You look at some of we were talking about this the other day, some of the global brands that we have in our area with the Acushnet Company, Matuk. We have two thriving industrial parks. There's so much exciting things, the arts and culture, the restaurants, the entertainment. There's so much going on, and we just, we want to help amplify our message. I think we're the best kept secret in Massachusetts.
I like that. That's the marketing brain in her.
That's it. Well, the marketing never stops, right?
right.
No.
But I do agree, we are the best kept secret in Massachusetts. And of course, one of our goals for the next year or two is going to be to try to amplify that as much as we can. So, when we merged, we started with the board of 51.
Yeah.
And then now we've taken it down to where it's 26 or 27 people. And how do you as the chair look at trying to make sure everybody remains engaged and is accountable, focused, helpful, and it's going in the same direction, which is a lot harder than it seems?
Well, I don't know if I'm doing it yet. It's only been a month, so give me some time. But what I hope to do is really give everybody a voice, right? I think we have some very dedicated and concerned, in a positive way, concerned members of the board and executive committee who really care about the community just like we do, and they want to see all good things for this area and the businesses that we serve. So I think, it starts with a really good foundation. We've got a great team at the chamber. We've got a great board and executive committee that's dedicated, and that we all do want the same things. We all want to see the visibility for this area, the advocacy, et cetera. So that's the foundation of everything. But I think giving people the voice to be heard, I think we do a good job of that. I think anybody on the board can speak up at any time in a meeting and ask questions and challenge things, which we've done. So just keeping that open communication, I think, is the most important thing I can do as chair.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, we're only one board meeting in, but it was we've had a lot of change this year in the board. It's just the timing of when people's terms expire and things, but we had a lot of change. But we really had a good, lively conversation.
Yeah, and I was nervous about losing some of the people that had been around a long time that I felt would, support me and that I could reach out to, et cetera. But it was really great to have some of the new voices really speak up and have ideas, and, they're excited to be part of this. So sometimes when you first start something is when you have the most enthusiasm and you can participate more. So I was really excited to hear some of those people speak up in the meeting.
Yeah, I was very excited to hear the folks, the ideas, the energy.
Yeah.
And of course, to your point, we lost, and I say we lost, but it's not that we lost them, it's their terms expired.
Yeah.
Some people are ready to go. It's all positive.
Yeah.
But we had lost some people who, when you look at all the time that they served before we merged, because we restarted people's terms when we merged in 2020. There's some people that have close to 20 years.
Wow.
As
a long time.
as chamber
Yeah.
members.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of institutional knowledge, and like you said, from both organizations, and then bringing them together. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. So anyway, you want to jump in
Sure.
here?
Catherine, let's talk a little bit about regional and state level advocacy. What role do you think that the chamber should be playing in that, and then how do you think we should help elevate that voice for them?
Yeah, well, like we said, right, we have such a collective voice from all of these organizations that are members here of varying sizes, varying industries. It's such a great opportunity when we get people from Boston, not just the State House. We had Susan Collins from the Federal Reserve down. That was an excellent meeting. She got to hear those stories, and I, as a banker, got to hear her reference that meeting for a bank meeting for bankers from all over the state. And I was so proud to say, she said, I was at a great meeting in New Bedford, and so I think, like we said, we have to get people down to experience the area and see all the great things that are going on. So I think we have a big voice, and that is part of, like we mentioned, our pillars, right? Advocating for the needs of the businesses in our community is huge. So I think it's helping facilitate that dialogue. So we raise the issues, we get it in front of the legislators, and then keep the communication going. You've done a great job bringing in legislators to speak to the members, and I think that's, as a member, you feel like you get that access. This is the inside access to speak to the governor or the local representatives, et cetera. So I think we do a good job of that. We just got to keep the dialogue going to get our issues raised.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So what strategies do you think, or would you support to ensure that the chamber remains relevant? Or I shouldn't say you support, because you support us every day, but what strategies do you think we could bring in and do better to help get this message out there and let the world know all the great things that are going on and the great work that the chamber is doing?
Yeah, so we've said this word a couple times. It's amplifying, right?
Yeah.
The stories that are going on. If you talk to, one of my favorite things is talking to small businesses about their story. And every small business owner is thrilled to talk about their business, how they got started, what they're excited about, what their challenges are. So the stories are already out there. And I think the chamber's a great place to bring those together and then really celebrate those successes. So as one of our businesses hits a milestone or has an anniversary, you do this a lot with the Thank You Thursdays. You go out and visit them and tell the stories. And I think that's, one of the biggest things we can do for this area is just talk about the great things that are going on and try to elevate that. So, we have talked about some public relations ideas. We'd like to get those stories at the Boston or state level to get visitors to our area to show off all of these treasures that we have here. So that's one thing. I think we've talked about, answering the needs of our members. So we want to focus on that and really, focus a little bit on our own viability, right? So getting our fiscal house in order so that we can be a strong organization for generations to come. Like you said, many of our members have been on the board for 20 years, but how many of our organizations have been members for decades, right? So we want to make sure that we're doing what we need to answer the needs of the future, like AI, technology, automation, efficiencies, all of those things that every business is struggling with right now.
AI is the toughest one because it all depends. In some cases, it's even age-based.
Yeah.
That how well people understand it and how people realize you can utilize it as a tool.
Right. It's ever evolving.
Ever evolving. Every day I hear something new, something that might be terrifying today, but we've started all of our meetings at the bank on a senior level talking about how we're using AI in our business lines. So every 2 weeks we have new adoption and it's changing our business every day. So we have to keep up with it.
Yeah.
And we brought in an intern from Bridgewater State University. It was the opportunity was brought to us by Bridgewater, and it's an AI intern. And I know from my perspective, like I kept telling Katie and Ian and Kim and Dot, everybody on our team, I kept saying we have to make sure we're challenging him properly because he probably knows more than we do.
Oh, he does.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, he asked me questions. I said, I don't know how to answer that. I have no. It's a whole other language to me, a lot of it.
Yeah.
And I'm somebody who I think I'm staying on top of things, and then you hear words that are coming out of their mouth, and yeah, there's so much to learn.
And just since it's rolled out, we use Copilot at the bank, and just since we started using it until now, how it's improving every day, right? So you may have asked a question and the answer was so, you ask it again a week later, it's gotten smarter.
Right.
Because it's, constantly generating more valuable data, so, yeah.
It's amazing what it can do.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is amazing what it can do. We're kind of just, we've got a list of questions, but the conversation's just sort of taken us through all of those. But, so you've been in the banking industry for a long time, but you've been in marketing for even longer. What perspective, experience, how can you bring your network to us that can help the Chamber get better for all the small businesses and everybody in our membership?
Oh, that's a tough question. You didn't prepare me for that one. No. I don't know. Like Katie said earlier, marketing is just sort of an instinct when you've been doing it this long. I think I look at things all the time and think, how do we get the message out? How do we communicate that better? How do we get people excited about whatever's going on?
Yeah.
So that's just something that it's just, ingrained in me, and so I was excited about helping get the Chamber's message out, like we talked about with PR, and I know we have a conversation about website, et cetera, scheduled. So I'm excited about that because I think there's things that we can do to help. You're constantly evaluating. Marketing is changing just like everything else. Yeah. I mean, AI has changed the way Google search works and online advertising, et cetera. So that's changing. We're constantly evaluating how we do our jobs. And then I think that extends to the rest of the region, right? So if there's things that we can do to help tell the stories of our members in this area, I'm happy to help.
And back to marketing being ever evolving, I think back to when I first started my marketing career and how it was a completely different ballgame than what it is now. Social media was a brand new thing. We've talked about it on the show before. It was brand new. Facebook was just for college students at that point in time. And now here we are using social media as the main form of advertising because that's the best way to get your message out quickly to a large audience. So it's going to be interesting to see, I think, how with AI, what else is going to develop and what's going to be the next thing that we're going to be using for marketing. And gone are the days of, newspapers are there's not a lot.
Right.
Mr. Newspaper over here.
Newspapers are obsolete.
Yeah, but I mean that used to be the big thing, and
well, some things have changed, but some things stick around, right? So actually, as digital marketing became more popular, direct mail became more efficient because there was less junk in your mailbox.
Right.
And I always say, if you get a postcard, you still have to walk from the mailbox to the recycling bin or wherever you're going with it. So you probably flip it over. Yes. Everybody flips through their mail. So sometimes what's old is new again, and that could be great, but it's the breadth of marketing, right? So you're still doing direct mail. You are constantly investing in your website because that has to be fresh and changing all the time. You have to do all the SEO, the search engine optimization to make your website relevant so that you pop up when you do a Google search or an AI search. And people are still advertising on radio and TV. We do advertising on sports because most people watch sports live, so we find that most effective. But then you're doing all of the digital, and the people want relevant marketing, right? So if I'm a first-time homeowner, I don't want an ad about saving for my first home. I already have my first home, so I want to know about what's next. How do I make it more energy efficient, or how do I do a home equity loan? Or so you need to be smart and prove to customers that you understand where they are in their life cycle. So that's, I think, the data part of that and the intelligence part of that is really exciting, and AI can help with that.
Yeah.
So that's, that will help a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the data is again, it's ever evolving, but you need it. You have to have the data today where, 30, 40 years ago, when I first started selling advertising, we had no data. We just said, we put out this
Spray
many
and pray.
papers. We put out this many papers. It's more than anybody else. And you barely had to document it once a year.
Right.
And it either worked or it didn't work.
Right.
And I remember I was 22 years old and I had a customer yelling at me that the ad didn't work. And I had driven past his store on a Saturday, and there must have been, it was a monster bedding sale. And I mean, like, giving away great mattresses for like $10. Like, he was really trying to draw people in. And I drove by, and there had to be 100 people there. And I was young and didn't really understand it yet. And I remember going back to my boss and saying, he was yelling at me because only 100 people came. And he said, well, Mike, when you don't go out of your way to say this to him, but ask him what he would have done if 30,000 people showed up on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock.
Right.
It would have been a disaster. And, so there's a give and take and everything. So you kind of learn from those things as you go along. But that's one I'll never forget. Never, ever, ever forget. Because he was really upset with me. Then you learn.
And now we have analytics thanks to all the
now the
digital advertising
analytics.
that we have.
Consumers have changed what they expect from retailers, right? Because Apple and Google and Netflix and Amazon know us so well.
Yeah.
So you order something on Amazon and they say, well, I think you want this too. And you're like, oh yeah, I really do want that too. And we're so used to reviews. And so it's changed how we do everything.
Yeah.
I mean, would you book a trip without looking at reviews? No. Would you go to a restaurant without looking at reviews? Well, it's the same in banks. We have to worry about reviews. And so it's completely changed, how we talk to customers and prospective customers.
Yeah.
It really has changed it. And of course, that's why the Chamber of Commerce is here. We're trying to help everybody navigate through these challenges in the changing world and trying to do a good job of it. And we do the best we can.
That's right.
Well, Catherine, it's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. I know we're going to have a great year, and then into 2027 will be even better. But thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. And Katie, thank you as always.
Thank
It's been
you.
great.
Thank you both so much.
Thank you.